Okay, people, I'm at the end of my rope. This is the best that I can do. Today's date is April 26, 2018. And what the trigger is for me to do this video, people, is the fact that, again, the public union sector in the province of British Columbia, Canada, sucks. They don't like to protect the public. And I say this because I'm going to give you a timeline of what happened to my daughter, Shemay. The one that's supposed to be going to school in a couple of hours from now. We gave away her brand new pair of shoes, that's nice white practicum shoes, to a woman that works in that industry in terms of nurses' assistants, right, to help with the elderly and whatnot. God forbid if Shemay got up into the elderly crowd and started telling the old people what happened to Uncle John. We wouldn't want that to happen now, would we? So in the meantime, somebody else is wearing Shemay's shoes to work. Shoes that Shemay never got to wear. I've had it, people. I think Fraser Health Authority is trying to protect their ass. I do. I think they're being opportunists and they're playing with my children's lives again. Only this time they're using the body of my middle daughter, Shemay, with their psychological warfare and everything else that they perpetrate upon society under the mask of health care. Duty of care to the patient. Well, let me remind people that my daughter was dead on April 11th of 2018. That's when she died, people. Not April 19th, 2018, under a machine that was shut off. My daughter was dead long before that time happened. What they did is they resuscitated a dead body, and then they plugged her up to some machines so that she could rot. To the point where eventually the brain doctor said, well, we got to cut it off right away because if we don't, it's going to get ugly and it's too hard on the nurses. Because we've seen it before, because your daughter is completely brain dead, because her brains are leaking into her stem cells, into her down this way, down her fucking spine. Because there's only one hole for it to go down after it swelled so bad. Because she was dead before they took her out of here, people, and they freaking knew it. And I'm going to give you the timeline. I'm going to give you the timeline. Okay? Because these are supposed to be professional people that are, like, lying through their teeth as they're giving you one side of the story and knowing the other side that they don't tell you about because she did it to herself. It was fentanyl. She must have been an addict, and if she wasn't an addict, she was a partier. She was celebrating going to school right before going to sleep after looking after the baby. And doing 2 days, even though she was sick, 2 days of all her paperwork, as she's being told that she's going to be cut off of welfare, right, with a baby because she was going to school. But she made sure she faxed off all her paperwork to have it freaking assessed, right? Because I said, Shemay, don't worry. If they cut you off of welfare, there's lots of food in the house. I'm going to be doing childcare, so we'll have a little extra money. But if they don't cut you off welfare, and they maybe top you off with what they, student loan doesn't give you, because they were only giving her $4,500 to live on, people, for 9 months while she was going to school. And she was scared that she couldn't go to school, and I told her to go to school anyway. All right? And then she contacted social services for the financial part. And I told her, you contact them, you have them review your file. So she faxed everything off on Tuesday, 24 hours before she was dead, to see if she still qualified for even a $500 welfare check. Right? As she's being told she was going to be cut off completely for going to school. People. So, anyway, if you're wondering what's provoked this video, it's the coroner. I don't even know why we have a coroner in this province. Honest to God. Because this coroner hasn't told me anything that I didn't already know. In terms of, oh, well, I got her medical files, and it said she died of fentanyl, case closed. But, however, you asked for a criminal investigation, so I'll just wait for the cops to forward me some information before I make my final decision. Oh, by the way, your daughter's at the hospital. There is no autopsy. I said, what? No autopsy? What do you mean, no autopsy? So you cut off the machines on the 19th, telling me nobody can take her hair because people want to take a little bit of her hair. Oh, no, don't touch her hair because we don't want her going to the pathologist with her hair all cut up, right? Because, we gotta just leave her exactly where she is. Don't touch her, don't move, just nothing, people, because she's gonna go for autopsy. I have the paper here, people. I have the paper. It's right here. What does it look like? Do you see that? It says consent for autopsy. Right? Because I told the doctor, the brain guy, I said, you're going to list it down as suspicious death, right? Not just, oh, she did it to herself. It was fentanyl, right? Oh, well, I said, excuse me? He goes, yeah. Oh, it's not the coroner, though, that really gets into the forensic part of it. It's the autopsy. Because the coroner will do an investigation anyway, if it's fentanyl. Because if it's fentanyl, then, there are people that are going to jail for this. I said, oh, really? Since when? Never heard about it, but you're the doctor. You said people are going to jail for murdering other people with fentanyl. Well, that's reassuring because this needs to be investigated. Because my daughter was murdered. Oh, well, but we have to take it one step further. It's got to go to the pathologist who will do the autopsy. I said, well, then do it. But you know what, people? They fucked up. You know why they didn't do an autopsy? Do you want to know why my daughter's been sitting in the hospital since May 19th after they disconnected the freaking machines that they had her on? Because her body was rotting on those machines. Okay? Her eye sockets were leaking out of her eyelids. Water was leaking out of her skin. And that's after her blood turned to water. Before she even showed up at the hospital. Because it wasn't clotting when they got her. Because her body was already dead. So they're playing fucking Frankenstein people with my daughter. This is what the Surrey Memorial Hospital has done to my daughter. They fucking put her up fucking display, right? We already know with my last video before this one, right? That we asked specifically not to have certain people go into that freaking room, but they did it anyway. They allowed those people to go into that room anyway because they wanted to piss me off. They wanted to hurt my kids, right? They wanted to stir up the pot, right? They wanted to sit there and take their notes and say that the immediate family's getting hostile, right? As they are displaying my daughter to a culprit, more than likely. And when I write it all down, people, maybe not on this fucking video, but it'll be on the next fucking video. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to swear. Because if I swear, it hurts people so bad. Oh, don't swear. It is such a crime of the century to swear. You're a bad person to swear. I'm a professional this, and I'm a professional that. The government pays me taxpayers' dollars. God forbid if you swear. You're an evil person for swearing. So I apologize for swearing, people. But really, what the hell do we need a coroner in the province of British Columbia, Canada, when all the coroner did was phone me up and say, she died of fentanyl, well, case closed. Oh, but since there is a criminal investigation, we'll just keep the file open for a little while, but you can go pick up your dead daughter, who's been in the morgue for the last week and a bit, because we never did do the autopsy, because we're not going to. There's nothing that the autopsy can show us. Freaking right, people. Freaking right. There's nothing that the autopsy can show them. You want to know why? Because they let my daughter rot on their freaking bed. Hooked up to a bunch of machines as they allowed whoever, whenever they wanted to come by and see her against the family wishes. That's why they can't do an autopsy. Because it won't show nothing. Because she got bloated. Right? Because everything was shut down by the time she got to the hospital. Severe liver damage. Severe kidney damage. Severe lung damage. Severe freaking brain damage. Severe heart damage. And her blood was turning to water. Because her body had been dead for a while. I asked the coroner, oh, well, isn't it going to tell the time of death? No. I said, isn't it going to tell how the fentanyl was introduced into her body? No. Well, yeah, because you let her body just rot on your bed. Right? For what? For what? To cover it up? To cover up the fact that you people that are supposed to protect the people of this province don't give a shit about people dying of fentanyl because it's too easy to broad sweep? Oh, she was an addict. Oh, she must have been a partier. Oh, she did it to herself. Oh, she hung out with the wrong crowd. Are you listening to me, people? I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I have to do it with this. I would probably turn this on and off and fill in some blanks. Okay? Sunday. Saturday. Sunday. Monday. Tuesday. Wednesday. All right? Saturday, she went to a baby shower. Sunday, she went to a family gathering of old friends that have no history of drugs. Neither party. Monday, she wasn't feeling well. But she did all her paperwork online. Contacted social services in regards to that, oh, well, you're being cut off of welfare because you're going to school. You're not entitled to be with anything. But, you know, send us the paperwork. Get it all ready. This is what we need. Okay? So she wasn't feeling well, but she did it anyway, people. Right? Social services. Daycare. Passport. She got everything ready. Tuesday, she wasn't feeling well. She was feeling nauseated, right? Kind of like whatever, but she was on a schedule. She had to meet the fucking oops, sorry. There's that, she put her in jail. She swore. You know, she must be mentally unstable. She swore. You know, that's the big crime of the century. She swore. Wasn't feeling well. But she went out. And she faxed childcare papers. She dropped off social services papers for her assessment to see if maybe even she could be topped off for a couple $100 a month, considering that she wasn't getting enough on her student loan. I'll just put social services there. Right? She took a passport picture, dated for the 10th. This is April 10th. Because I gave her $200 to do her passport, right? Because the kids were going to go to, her and her sister were going to go to Tacoma to go visit Shemai's dad in May and do some stuff for the nonprofit, right? But the people that were supposed to sign it weren't available that day. So she was going to go out the next day, Wednesday or Thursday, to have them sign it. But she got her picture ready. So it's either Wednesday she was going to go get the people to sign it, or Thursday. She had to catch up with them. She couldn't do it Tuesday. She wanted to do it Tuesday, but they weren't available. But she did get the passport picture that's stamped. And she bought Top King, which is a restaurant, Chinese food. The $200 went missing. Don't know where it is. Wednesday. Okay? Now, Monday and Tuesday, she was upstairs all day with me when she wasn't out on Tuesday doing what she did. In other words, she came up at 9:30, 10, and whatever it was in the morning, both days, was upstairs with the baby, doing whatever she was doing Monday on the computer. I was helping her with the baby. She was upstairs right up until 1:30 or so in the morning. And finally at 1:30 or whatever, I'm like, Shmee, I gotta go to sleep. You gotta go downstairs. She told me that she wanted to be upstairs because she thought it was a little better for her just to be upstairs. She didn't tell me why, people. She just said she wanted to be upstairs. And I said, fine. And then that's how I mentored her to not worry about welfare cutting her off from social services, you know, because she wanted to go to school. That even if they cut her off, if she really wanted to go, it's okay. Rent was covered. She was going to give the landlord $5,000 or $4,000 or whatever. It was like 9 months of rent in advance. As soon as her money was coming in May 1st, okay, in terms of her student loan, and she was going to take that $4,500 or whatever it was that was for support and give it directly to my landlord so that the rent was covered, guaranteed for 9 months straight. Because I told her, if social services cut you off, don't worry. You know your mother has food in the house. You're not going to go hungry. And I'm on childcare. I'll be making a bit of money. So we'll be fine. You just go to school and get it done. And then when you're done school, you want to go to full-time work? Between me and Tisha, we'll look after the baby and you can go to work. That was the plan, people. So upstairs, all day Monday, from 9 o'clock in the morning until 1:30 in the morning. Tuesday, came up again at 9:30 in the morning, ran off, did whatever she needed to do with all that paperwork that I just listed, not feeling well, feeling nauseated, but did it anyway. Came home, stayed upstairs again until 1:30 or so in the morning, and finally I said, Shmee, you know, it's been a long day. I need to get some rest too. So she went back downstairs at 1:30 in the morning. Tuesday morning. Tuesday night. Tuesday morning, whatever, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning at 1:30 a.m., Shmee goes downstairs. After being upstairs all day and night. Does that sound like a drug addict to you? Does that sound like someone partying? This is what healthcare professionals and any kind of public union sector worker wants to import. Well, she must have been partying. She must have been doing drugs and you just didn't know about it. Yeah, okay. I didn't know about it, right, people? All right. Now we're into the day, the official day that she died. And you know what? I'm going to keep these videos kind of short. In other words, I'm going to say what I have to say because I'm livid, people. I am freaking livid because this coroner didn't tell me something that I didn't freaking know already. Because when my daughter went to the hospital and they hooked her up to those machines, my daughter has a friend in that hospital that wandered at some point. As a matter of fact, she has more than one friend in that hospital that wandered at some point into her room and looked at her file. Okay? This was Wednesday night. After they did all their blood tests and urine tests and everything else. Okay? And it was noted on the file that she had a high high dose of fentanyl. Keep that in mind, because when I found out officially from the nurse that my daughter had died from fentanyl, and I asked the nurse in what percentage of fentanyl, the nurse would not give me a direct answer and instead told me that they cannot measure the amount of fentanyl. They just know that it was fentanyl. Now, is that true or not true? Because you're not going to get the truth from these people. And as you watch these videos, the next couple of 2-3 videos, you're going to see why I say that. Not to mention what happened to Uncle John. Let's not forget, people, we've got that lawsuit pending up here with FHA, with the duty of care that brings out all these case law that is not applicable to Uncle John, but yet for some reason, over a period of 3 hours in front of a judge, it was thrown out of court because I was bound to fail. So do not think that this lawsuit against Fraser Health Authority isn't playing a role in how my daughter was treated or being treated. Because currently she's sitting in the Surrey Memorial Hospital morgue waiting for the family to pick up her body because the request for autopsy was ignored. That's what the coroner phoned me for. To tell me to get my body out of that hospital. That they're done with it. Well, yeah, of course they're done with it. Because they had to destroy the body in order to not do their freaking job. Right? Because by the time they cut off that machine, like I said, her freaking eyeballs were oozing out of her eye sockets. You could see the moisture leaking out of her skin. She was bloated as if she was embalmed. I'm going to end it on this note and then I'm going to come back. I had a dream. I'm going to upload this and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to take this camera, I'm going to put it over, I'm going to upload this and convert it, come back. And then I'm going to follow up with this, okay? And as I do these videos, people, I'm sending it to the top cop in Ontario. I'm sending these videos to the Premier of this province. I'm sending these videos to the public Solicitor General and whatnot of this province. I'm sending this video to the Minister of Children and Family Development. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. You want to know why I got to do it that way, people? Because I'm exhausted. I don't have time to sit there and write out 50 pages of 1,000,000 words or even 5 pages of 1,000 words. Because these people that get paid to protect the public, they don't take it serious anyway. You could write 500 words, 5,000 words, 500,000 words, or 1,000,000 words, and they're not going to take it serious because we live in a lawless society, people. And my daughter and what happened to her is just another example of this lawless society where only the union sector seem to really benefit with their lip service. So back to the dream. And this is another reason why I'm doing these videos. Because this dream has me petrified. And I have a history of having dreams be a beacon in terms of premonition. It's not imagination. It's not psychosis. It's not mental illness. It's called premonition. It's called being intuitive. Anyway, after Uncle John was taken, medically kidnapped, through the facilitation of Fraser Health Authority and their agents, of course my children were depressed. Everybody was disturbed, depressed. You know, there's that cortisol, psychological warfare, you know, attack on the family, whatever it is, right? And, you know, Shimei was arguing with the father of the baby, didn't want to be with him, didn't agree with his lifestyle choices, wanted to make a better life for herself. So there was a lot of arguing going on back in those days. I'm not specific on the exact year I had the dream, but I had a dream either in 2016, it was probably around 2016 or so, okay, where I had seen Shimei. Just her head. Do you see? And she looked dead. In my dream, she was dead. It was clear to see she was dead. And then whatever happened to Shimei was going towards Tisha's room. In other words, Tisha was next. And of course, I woke up crying. So stressed out about that dream. And then, of course, because I've had dreams in the past where those premonitions have come true and helped me to get through whatever it was that needed to get through at that particular time when it related to that dream, because I've had several people. This is just one of many. I'm not getting into details with the other ones right now. But I woke up crying. And I tried to ask myself, what was it? What was it? Was it real in terms of a real death? And then it was going towards Tisha, and Tisha was going to die physically too? Or was it an emotional death where your daughter just stopped talking to you for a lifetime, right? Because of all the arguing that was going on in the house. Because of the medical kidnapping of Uncle John, you know, Shimei trying to break away from an abusive relationship, right? From a person that didn't want to make good choices in life and thought that just because he had knocked her up, right, that somehow he owned and controlled her. So, you know, arguing, and of course kids take it out on their moms and dads because, you know, they feel safe with mom and dad, and, you know, and she just didn't want to talk to me anymore. So was it an emotional death that I was coming into, where she just wouldn't talk to me for the rest of my life, or wouldn't talk to me for 30 years or 40 years, and then Tisha jumped on that bandwagon and didn't want to talk to me? Or was it a physical death? Because obviously I didn't want to admit to myself that it was going to be a physical death. But my dream warned me, people. Okay? And this is why I'm fighting back, because it warned me, people. But of course, I had to wait and see and wait for it to unfold, right? Well, it sure in the hell unfolded now, didn't it? Because when I went downstairs and seen my daughter, and we're going to get to this, people, with this bubble coming out of her nose, bubbles, and bubbles in her mouth, and I went to her, and I breathed into her mouth, I looked into her face, I felt her skin, I knew she was dead, people. I knew she was dead. But of course, you go into CPR mode as best as you can, right? You wait for the ambulance to show up so that they can go into CPR mode as best as they can. Because you don't want to believe that your loved one had died. But I had plugged in the camera, but I forgot to turn on the power bar, so that's what happened. It blinked out because the battery was low. Anyway, they revived a dead body. That's what they did. They knew she had died. You want to know how they, you want to know how they knew that she died? Because first of all, they're professionals. They deal with this kind of stuff every freaking day of their lives when they go to work. They're trained to look for the signs. And do you know what some of those signs are? Urinating after death. Defecating after death. Having the gases come up to the nose after death. These are all key signatures of death. Of the last final stages of death. To the point where you can't be revived. That's why her organs were so damaged by the time she showed up at the hospital. Because she had already been dead for a while, people. So just because they started her heart, it was started on a corpse. They started a heart on a corpse. And then they took the corpse with the heartbeat to the hospital. They hooked it up to some machines. They put her on a freaking display. They pissed off the family to let whoever and wherever they wanted to come, just so they could put in their files that the family is being hostile because, so-and-so wasn't showing any signs of aggression. So therefore, they were allowed to come in and do their boo-hoos, knowing that they hooked up a dead body. A dead body. Because she had defecated herself, she had urinated on herself, and she was having symptoms of those last ending within 40 minutes to an hour it takes for the body to release all these gases to have these bubbles come out of your mouth. They know that. They're professionals. That's what they get paid for. But that's not the agenda. The agenda is, she died of fentanyl. Another case, it's just a statistic, move on. Let's wait for the next one to come through and then we'll just write it off as it's nothing because we're just going to hook up dead bodies every now and then just to see the reaction of the family, just to maybe gain a little more insight as to how long it decomposes on a machine. Who cares if we desecrate the body? It's a dead body anyway. Are you following me on this one, people? So back to the dream. This is the way I seen her. From the head up. And she was gray and discolored, as in dead. And whatever happened to Shimei was going towards Tisha. In other words, it's a warning, people. That dream was a warning. I couldn't stop what happened to Shimei, but I can damn well stop it from happening to Tisha. And this is exactly why I am doing this video, and I'm going to send it to the top cop, I'm going to send it to the premier, I'm going to send it to the attorney general, and whoever else I can send it to, I'm going to send it to, because I am sorry, I don't have time to sit there and write 500 words, 5,000 words, 500,000 words, or 5 million words, because at the end of the day, all those people that read those words don't give a rat's ass, because for some reason, they seem to think they are so much better and smarter than every other person in this freaking province simply because they are employed by the taxpayers. Forget the government. They are employed by the taxpayers and they are not doing their jobs. I did not need the coroner to tell me that my daughter had died of fentanyl and therefore case closed. After they misled me to think that they were going to do a follow-up and do a forensic freaking autopsy to find out why. And then freaking slap me in the face again, people, again, and tell me a week later to come pick up my daughter that's been sitting in a morgue because now suddenly I'm the one that's being negligent because I'm thinking she's being autopsied on. Are you listening? I'm going to write it down. And don't think the kids are in the house because they're not. They're not in the house. When they disconnected, I'm going to stop. I'm going to go convert this over. And this is one of many fucking videos. Oh, sorry. There's that evil Nana. She swore. Lock her up for swearing. Oh my God, I busted somebody's eardrums because I was swearing. Like, people are pathetic. They commit major crimes under the Criminal Code of freaking Canada, and they want to use swearing as if it's the worst crime in the century. Anyway, when they shut off the machines, this is how she was. With her eyeballs leaking out of her freaking underneath. You could see it. Liquid coming out of her skin. You could see it. If she wasn't as cold as ice, because they iced her down, to help with the swelling in the brain, even though they know that she had already been dead for a long time, but they just didn't want to acknowledge it. So they hooked her up to the machine to bypass that, when in fact they should have pronounced her dead downstairs on April 11th and immediately taken her to the freaking autopsy and done an autopsy then to find out exactly what would have happened. Because I said to the doctor, the brain doctor, when he was telling me, we need to pull the plug because it's going to get ugly. I've seen it before. It's really hard on the staff. Well, yeah, because you hooked up a dead body. Of course it's going to get ugly. It's Frankenstein crap, right? And Tisha wanted to keep her on life support for 65 years. And I'm like, Tisha, it can't happen. Right? But after, 4 days of getting ugly, they started to panic and then start putting pressure on us to disconnect because they damn well knew what they had connected up was a dead body. So when they turned off, finally, the machine, the exact image, people, that I seen in my dream came to surface in terms of that, the color of her skin, because within 7 minutes of the machine or so being shut off, and because she had been dead for so long on a machine, she quickly turned gray, as in the color that I seen in my room, in my dream. Who is that?
Me, Mom, I need my charger. Somebody called me, but my phone died. It's just right there. Would you be able to pass it to me? Thank you. And if it's for you, should I come get you?
Yeah, sure. It's the coroner. It's the coroner to tell me something I don't already know. I'm going to be uploading this one. I'll be coming back and doing this later because I don't want 2-hour-long videos. It's already, what, half an hour and some? I have to write it down, people. I have to write it down. And I'm not going to let it slide. I'm not. The nurses said that they were looking after Shimei as if Shimei was their sister. When in fact, Shimei was not their sister. Shimei was a corpse. They were looking after a corpse. And if they're looking after any sister, I think it would be Eleanor Gilding. Right? The super nurse that has seniority to go around picking and choosing what victim they want when it comes to people's assets. Right? Trace the Health Authority and that lawsuit. Am I taking it personal? Damn right I'm taking it personal, people. They hooked up a dead body when they should have pronounced her downstairs dead, instead of trying to jumpstart her heart just so that they could do their morbid science experiment and mess with my family. And then have the coroner tell me something that I didn't already know. Right? I knew that night. And you know what's even stranger about this? Is the next day when I was going off to court for Amari, as I was going to court, this happened Wednesday morning, right? Shimei, at 10 a.m., well, 10:30. At 10:30 a.m., should have been pronounced dead by the paramedics. Instead of Narcaning her 4 times and doing something else to get a fake heartbeat so that they could hook her up to machines, leave her on there for a week, knowing that her body was going to go into total chaos and start oozing out this and oozing out that and just, just get real ugly. Because she died between 8:30 and probably 8:45. Maybe 8:20, 20 minutes or so after she did a Snapchat saying how happy she was to go to sleep now that her sister was looking after the baby because she had done all this stuff prior right? And she still had to go out and get her passport done. So she was looking forward to a bit of sleep before she went off and got the passport stuff done. But between 8:20 and 8:45, something happened to her, people. Something really bad happened to her. But under the union sector, she did it to herself because it was fentanyl. And as far as the healthcare system is concerned, the duty of care was to the patient, and that was to jumpstart her heart even though she was dead. Because everything points to that direction, people. When I show you the timeline, you're going to see how it all fits in, because they don't tell you this stuff. They don't want you to know the truth. They don't want you to know how long it takes for body gases to escape. They don't want you to know what happens when people pee and defecate, because once they do that, they pretty much dead. They don't want you to know about the death rattle, which sounds like snoring, which is the last stages of death, which is about, in Shimei's case, 5 minutes to 9. 5 minutes to 9, Shimei was displaying symptoms of the death rattle. Because Tisha's the witness. She heard it. And that's why her life is in danger. And that's why I'm doing this video. Because my other daughter's life is in danger. Because these healthcare professionals are protecting a freaking fucking criminal!